Hello, folks, and welcome to the Democratizing SEO podcast, a podcast for marketers who seek to have a better understanding of the SEO channel in order to engage with it more successfully. My name is Austine Esezobor. I am an SEO consultant and your host for this podcast. All right. Let me talk some more about SEO equity pages. I've touched on this topic before, but probably haven't spoken on it enough. The way the industry is evolving, I believe clients, brands will need to spend a hell of a lot more time concerning about their SEO equity pages as opposed to focusing on keywords. So, to start with, what are SEO equity pages? Equity pages, as the name suggests, are pages that are important to the SEO channel, primarily because of the traffic and or conversions that result from having the pages live. Now, the term important has more than one variable. For example, a page can be deemed as important because of the traffic it generates to your site. A product category page comes to mind, for example. Similarly, another page, which may not generate a lot of traffic, can also be considered to be important because of the authority it has. So if you have an outreach campaign page that you've created and cultivated over many years, which has a high authority on several metrics, page rank, citations, etc., this may be deemed to be an equity page, even if it doesn't generate a ton of traffic compared to other equity pages. Essentially, equity pages are those that have a business value from an SEO point of view. Your SEOs may have their own way of defining what an equity page is, but the key thing is to ensure that you have this defined and identified, i.e., have an updated list of your equity pages. Now, in all likelihood, you may find that your SEO equity pages are pages you're already tracking as part of your keyword rank tracking. This is all well and good. However, I want to point out that your equity pages should be considered above the keywords that are targeted on the pages. What do I mean by this? The viewpoint of pages when looking at ranking reports is to look at the targeted keywords and then to look at the pages ranking for the keywords. So it's keywords first and then pages underneath. You really want to switch this around. So you have your equity pages first and then the keywords they target can be viewed underneath them. This will give you the highlights of your equity pages, which is the way you really want to be thinking of SEO. Why do you want to be looking at pages over keywords? Well, SEO has evolved over the years. In the early years, sure, you could have considered your targeted keywords and focused on them and gotten away with this approach. These days, however, SEO is centered on users. SEO has always been about users. As I like to say, SEO is for users, not search engines. By considering your equity pages, you'll be acknowledging that they are for users and will be geared towards improving the pages for users. As SEO further matures, the more you build your pages for your users or potential users, the more you'll be rewarded with them being visible high up in the SERPs for the keywords that they are relevant for. By focusing on improving your equity pages for users, you'll strategically be consistently improving their ranking ability. Why? Because you'll be serving your users who enter your site via search, which inadvertently means they are search engine users. What do search engines aim to do? To, as best as they can, serve their users with the best, most appropriate results, web pages, to their queries. Is this not why Google has put so much attention on page experience over the past couple of years? It absolutely is. Google operates by influence on website owners. If you look at the work they've done over the years, the message to web owners is evident. Should you want to earn traffic from search? Improve your page experience for the users that will enter your site from search. Now, if you have pages in the thousands and tens of thousands, they won't be of equal status. Some may be a lot more valuable than others. Some may be of high importance. Some may not be valuable at all. You won't know this unless you have the equity of your pages identified. With this, you get to know the pages that are the biggest revenue generators. You get to know the templates that users resonate with the most. You get to be more strategic with what you have to offer to your users. If this means adding more to pages, you can do this. If this means removing certain features, you can do this. You get to treat your pages as assets which you manage in order to serve the users you aim to attract. Isn't this a lot better than zeroing in on keywords and where you rank for the keywords? Isn't this a hell of a lot freer than considering SEO to be a channel that seeks to quote unquote game search engines? It absolutely is, isn't it? This all starts with knowing what your equity pages are. Knowing your equity pages will transform the way you regard SEO. And mind you, this regard of SEO is an excellent way of getting all channels to work closer together. When you have your SEO equity pages identified, you'll realize that the majority of them are the same set of pages that other channels deem as important for their activities. When you have this in place, what do you have? You have all channels focused on building the assets to your website. Your assets being your pages. It's an unfortunate state to be in, where you have various channels that are unaware of the important pages across the site. It's unfortunate, but frankly, still the norm in digital marketing. What's worse is that non-SEOs are more interested in knowing rankings for keywords than they are in knowing what the site's equity pages are. This information should be company-wide. Every individual person that has a touch point with your website should be aware of what your equity pages are. This is the level of importance pages should have. So do yourself a solid. Do your business a solid. Become more aware of your equity pages. Your website will be a lot better off for it. All right, folks, let's leave it there for now. Stay tuned for more from Democratizing SEO. Subscribe to the podcast. You can find it on your podcasting app of choice. All right, folks, my name is Austine Esezobor. I'm an SEO guy. I'll be with you on a weekly basis to enlighten you on wielding SEO to success. That'll do it for now, folks. Until next time, bye for now.